T-minus 4 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes.
No.
T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute.
All right.
T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds.
I can see you, sweetie.
T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, folks, this is Kenny with Just the Right Angle here, coming at you live, doing a quick update on several issues that affect you. Of course, you can follow me at Just the Right Angle. YouTube account is Keep Arkansas Legal. This is my old account that I set up years ago to film events. I used YouTube for a while, and then I had to quit because they started doing what's known as shadow banning. That's where when you upload something, they hide it from folks. But you can check out my channel there. But I wanted to talk about several things. Of course, the big story in a nationwide level is Karmelo Anthony. He was sentenced. This is a guy that murdered Austin Metcalf, and there was a lot of racial stuff regarding this issue. This guy right here epitomizes kind of the state that things are in. This is Jamal. And he's talking about the black activists that are supporting Karmelo Anthony for the murder of Austin Metcalf. I'll just play this here for you.
Let me say this real quick. All you ignorants, Karmelo Anthony is about to do 35 years in prison. He's up for parole in 17 years. You don't think the Metcalf family is going to show up to his parole hearing to keep him in there? How is when the family shows up, they get to do a victim statement again. How has it affected them? And the parole board can turn you down. All you who are writing my page talking about I bet you Austin won't put his hands on nobody no more. You are getting our black youth imprisoned or killed. You think creating little thugs and little hoodlums is somehow the black culture. You are responsible for Karmelo Anthony. And you're going to get some more Karmelos, or you're going to get some Trayvons. Or what was that little boy down there in South Carolina that Mr. Child took out? Because he reached in his bag, and Mr. Child won't have that. Y'all are up here bragging, saying Austin won't put his hands on nobody, and this young black boy just got 35 years. Have you realized your stupidity?
Nope, they haven't.
This black culture of today is an absolute failure.
But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much summing everything. And if you look at the top tweets here, it's it's a bunch of people supporting this Karmelo Anthony, making up stuff of what happened. They pretend like they were there in the jury and all that. It's the whole race hustle industry has been there for decades to get people riled up on the wrong things at the wrong time. And until something is done about the black culture, you're going to have more incidents like this. And on a similar note, of course, one of the big sellouts to the race hustle industry is Mayor of Little Rock, Frank Scott Jr., and we have a chance to remove him, replace him with somebody named B.G. Wyrick. But the problem is we have a dysfunctional Republican Party that can't obey its own rules. And here's a prime example. For those who don't know, there was a Republican Party of Arkansas State Convention that was held Saturday. I had to attend and ended up, me and lots of others, being scammed by what turned out to be a rigged convention, where once again the Rules Committee decided the agenda, and any effort to try to change that was fought against. And because the establishment make up the rules, they decide what guests are allowed and which aren't, and lie to people claiming they don't have room for guests when they do. You have operatives like Chris Caldwell, Chase Duggar, Jordan Powell operating behind the scenes. And so that convention was basically a waste of time. One of the debates over the convention was being able to seat other counties, and it was claimed that we had to vote to allow other counties' delegates that were denied access to convention the right to speak. It turns out that was an absolute lie. Now, I originally saw this post by Cody Powers, and I want to give him credit for first finding this out. This was a rule within the Republican Party of Arkansas State Convention. I'm having to go to his page. Here it is. So he mentions the Republican Party of Arkansas rules regarding how county chairmen have to send their delegate list within 10 days after they select their delegates. The very next paragraph, Article 1, Section 6E, provides that every delegate whose entry is contested has the right to appeal to the whole convention. Of the 100 or more delegates not let in, only one delegate was afforded this right. That was him, Cody Powers. Why wasn't this rule followed for everyone else? And so, first you want to double check. So here's the official rules on the actual website. And there's the rules committee. By the way, this clown right here is the guy that blocked a 13-year-old girl from returning to the convention until Drew Martin had to inform him otherwise. That girl, by the way, I believe is a relative of a state representative. Here's another clown, Jordan Powell. And then Chase Duggar of JCD Consulting. And then Belinda Harris-Ritter is someone else who she writes a lot of these fake rules like the ones regarding inactive members. This right here is the problem, is there's too many people in this committee that are anti-Christian conservative, and they do all they can to make it difficult for people that actually want the Republican Party to adhere to this platform to be involved. But let's go to the rules that these people wrote and see what we say here. It's in regards to the state convention. Primary elections. There it is, the state convention, section 6. This is page 11 out of 45 on the Republican Party rules. And of course, they changed this. Here it is, section E right here. All contestants of election of delegates and alternates to the state convention shall be heard by the Credentials Committee. Any delegate or alternate rejected by the Credentials Committee shall have the right of appeal to the floor. The Credentials Committee shall report its findings to the convention. No delegate or alternate shall be entitled to a vote until such delegate or alternate has been placed on the temporary roll or seated by the convention. No alternate delegate shall be permitted to vote upon his or her contest. So yes, delegates have the right to go to the floor. They shouldn't have been banned. And quite frankly, it was a fraudulent done last time when Pulaski County was denied a chance to speak on their own behalf. In the convention before last. It says every delegate. So once again, we were lied to by this party of so-called rules. And what's going to be done about that rule being broken? Probably nothing. Same thing as when Belinda Harris-Ritter and the others made up a rule regarding inactive members to throw out Barry Edgars, probably one of the most successful Republican Party of Arkansas chairs there ever was. And so that's the kind of party that we have. I'll put a link to Cody Powers' page where he talks about this in the chat. And at your own convenience, feel free to look at that for yourself. Also put the RPA rules. You can read along that in the chat as well. Matter of fact, I think I'll pin this one. So yeah, at your own leisure, take a look at that. See what you think. And if you don't like what happened within the Republican Party of Arkansas State Convention, demand the members of the Rules Committee and those consultant class types be removed because they don't belong there. As I said before, it's because of people like them that we have blue cities and blue counties. And so that's the situation we're in regarding that issue. Next up, data centers. For those who don't know, there is a data center under construction in Clarksville. And this is Zach Riordan, who also tried to attend the convention. He was one of the people blocked. It would have been nice to hear from him about what was going on with the data center in Clarksville, but he was never allowed into the state convention because Rule 6E was never applied. By the way, we paid a parliamentarian, I don't know how much money, to advise us on rules, and I don't know why that guy didn't mention that either, but he has filled out a Freedom of Information request regarding Clarksville and the data center. Of course, all of these data centers have been done behind closed doors. And I actually haven't seen the comments on this post. And again, data centers can be a good thing. Data centers within a community might be a good thing. But so far, most of the data centers that have been set up have been done in secret and have ended up causing harm to communities. If you've looked at my earlier broadcasts, I talked about the incident in Lake Tahoe where the people lost their electricity. There was I think it was Virginia, where turns out millions of gallons of water was drained without anybody's consent. The data center literally stole millions of gallons of water. In Georgia, there's an issue regarding eminent domain because people are losing their farmland over power lines for the data centers. It's all kinds of chaos that's going on regarding them. And for those who don't know, there are 2 data centers being built in Little Rock. And as I have talked about this before, I was told I was going to be invited to one of these discussion groups regarding this data center. So I got this invitation a few days ago, and I want you to see how these people who want to engage in the community try to meet with people. This is from Kaky Linnihan from CooleyPublicStrategies.com. Dear Kenny, I wanted to follow up on behalf of Google and make sure you receive this invitation for a small group discussion about our proposed project at Port of Little Rock. We want to ensure we answer your questions, so we will hold small group conversations to share project updates, blah, blah, blah. So they want you to submit your questions in advance and signing up, but it's an event for Wednesday, June 10th at 2 p.m. at First United Methodist Church. So, folks, almost nobody goes to lunch at 2 p.m. Most people are at work at this time. So why in the world, if you're wanting to engage the community, would you have a public discussion during work hours? Of course, this invocation can't be transferred, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they don't work with people. They don't want to hear from people. And most of the meetings regarding city and county are only done because people have demanded that they be held in the evenings around 6 p.m. There is supposed to be, I believe, another meeting regarding data centers by either the Pulaski County Court or the city of Little Rock at around 6 p.m. this Thursday. But again, these people, of course, they set up this whole thing in secret. And most of their discussion is so far at the point mute because the deals have already been done. Unless we put enough political pressure on the people that set these data centers up, they are scheduled to go up regardless of what people say. Now, I know there's been some victories regarding this to talk about the town of Festus, Missouri, where they voted out their entire city council. So there is some good news regarding that. Let me see Quorum Court if I can find their website that showed their page. So the Pulaski County Quorum Court meets regularly on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, except for December. So they believe they met yesterday. And of course, you can see, I think it was about a 3-hour meeting then. Yeah, that'd be yesterday. And I don't know what's happening on the 11th. and go to Katie Rhodes. She usually keeps up with this. And there's all kinds of groups that are having various discussions. There was actually a discussion during the Republican Party of Arkansas State Convention. So her report on what happened yesterday was that the Pulaski County Quorum Court voted to delay the issue and declined to hear from the public before making a decision. This was similar to the last time they had dealt with this issue, basically hearing only from the pro data center folks, then voting on it, then hearing from the public. So that seems to be a similar tactic. Now here's the report regarding invited residents. So yeah, I was invited, but I was invited at a time when most people can't attend. So yeah, it's there, but like I said, you can't really do much about it. Oh yeah, it's interesting. So that's just a video that she has from people speaking about these. By the way, Google helped China create the surveillance system for communist China. Okay, correction. You quoted the rule as all contestants instead of all contests. Each appeal for each county's delegates was made be a seated individual. Member delegate at the convention. Be accurate, please. Okay, I'm looking. Let me go back to the rule. Somebody in comment just mentioned this. Tom Vic 9152 from YouTube. Thanks. Of course, I displayed the whole thing. All contests of each of election of delegates and alternates to the state convention shall be heard by the credentials committee. And any delegate or alternate rejected by the credentials committee shall have the right of appeal to the floor. I thought that's what I said. Sorry if you heard wrong, but I of course, I highlighted what I was talking about when I said that. And of course, I posted here. I'll do even better. I'll copy the whole statement and paste it here. So there it is, the whole statement. But anyway, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. Is we are trying to save this nation, at least on a political level. Of course, I remember the Bible verse I have here, Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous ruleth, the people rejoice. When the wicked are in power, the people mourn. Anyway, I just want to give a quick update on what's going on. Follow me at Just the Right Angle on Rumble. Keep Arkansas Legal on YouTube. Keep AR Legal on Twitter X. Keep Arkansas Legal on Truth Social, Gab, and MeWe.